In 2005, Toshihiro Nagoshi wanted to make Yakuza, a game centered around the Japanese criminal underworld. At the end of the PS2's life cycle, he wanted to create a cinematic open world game with a dark, melodramatic plot. At a time when the Japanese consumer base was ditching consoles for the scourge of hardcore gamers around the world, mobile gaming, and almost all Japanese developers were beginning to appeal to the Western market, Nagoshi wanted to make a deliberately Japanese game that wouldn't cater to the ignorant tastes of the gaijin. Sega, a company that turned Sonic into this, and greenlit a Dreamcast exclusive game with a budget so large that every Dreamcast owner would have had to buy it twice for it to break even, said hell yeah. 15 years later, Nagoshi is Chief Creative Officer of Sega, and the Yakuza series has over a dozen entries. The magnum opus? Yakuza 0. I love Yakuza 0. If anyone has played this beautiful gem of a game, you would know that Yakuza 0's greatest achievement is its tone. On the tonal scale, there are two ways to really mess up. Let's talk about Marvel movies real quick. Usually they get the tone pretty okay, but when they get things wrong, god damn. When they get things wrong, any semblance of tension or drama is immediately killed off by some corny ass puntastic joke that could only ever be funny if it came from a certain beautiful bold CEO's mouth. On the other side of the scale, you have the Batman vs Superman DC hyper edgy I hate my parents cinematic universe. Trying to have an overly serious badass tone leads to the Martha incident.
Why did you say that name?
Right in the middle, right in the beautiful sweet spot, we have Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 effortlessly switches from serious melodrama to corny karaoke to wacky side quests to this
Nani?
to this. All the while never seeming to be tonally jarring or ever having something feel out of place. Alongside tonal perfection, at a time when the video game industry tried to pull an Apple on us by telling us that loading screens were the greatest issue in any video game ever, and instructing us that they were fixing this problem by creating open world games that were really just empty continuous expanses of repetitive blandness, Yakuza 0 said,
Nani?
what's the difference between a space and a place? In video game terms, a space is the rendered graphical building blocks of an in-game map or world. A place is a name that holds meaning to the player, a collection of memories and characters and stories that we think of when someone mentions that place's name. Kamurocho, Novigrad, the Citadel. Yakuza 0 understands that making a vast expanse of nothingness doesn't constitute a realized world. A world is a place where you can go drinking, where you can go karaokeing with the boys, where you can race RC cars, where you can disco, where you can be a capitalist, where you can... Think of it like this. When you think of your own hometown, do you have a fully realized 3D topographical map with no loading screens on your head? No! You have specific memories, special places, important people, and yeah, maybe a few loading screens. In a world where the gaming industry tells you that no loading screen bore fests are an open world, Yakuza 0 tells you that playing a game within a game is the real open world. In a world that tells you that this is the male fantasy, Yakuza 0 tells you that this is the male fantasy. In a world that stigmatizes adult entertainment, Yakuza 0 is a game that tells you that gameplay is not king. While the combat does have a deceptive layer of depth, especially on the higher difficulties, I can't lie and say that it doesn't devolve into button mashing at times. That being said, it has the flash, the sense of impact, the style to make it entertaining. For the mini games too, look at the real estate sub-stories. We aren't doing complicated neurohacking stonknomics. We're just pressing buttons, you know? But it's the style, it's the context for our actions. In the debate of style versus substance, Yakuza 0 says style is substance. When other game designers season their games with salt and pepper, or sometimes forget the seasoning entirely, Yakuza 0 chucks in salt and pepper, and you know what? Maybe some paprika. You know what? Maybe Yakuza 0 sometimes adds a little extra special ingredient. These little flavorings might seem unimportant to you, layman, but trust me, Playing through the game, these garnishes really do contribute to this beautiful whole. The karaoke cinematics do make you appreciate Kiryu's bonds with the other characters more, and the stupid cries of anguish while RCing make you care about those damn electric cars. How many games spawn a meme more famous than the game itself? All this seemingly stupid side stuff ends up raising the emotional stakes of the main plot. Most importantly, Yakuza 0 is a game with a lot of heart. Every sub-story always has some corny positive message, and Kiryu is a stoic warrior who's a low-key softie. It's a game that makes you happy, that fills you with a warm fuzzy feeling inside, that gives you the feels.